I found out my husband has been secretly paying our neighbor's rent for 3 years. When I confronted him, I discovered she's raising the daughter he never told me he had. The first sign something was off was a notification from our joint bank account. $1,200 transferred to M. Calloway. I wouldn't have thought twice about it. My husband Ryan handles most of our finances, except this was the third consecutive month I'd seen that exact amount transferred on the first. And we don't know anyone named Calloway. When I casually asked Ryan about it that evening, his coffee mug froze halfway to his lips. It's for work, he said quickly. A contractor I hired for the Henderson project. I might have believed him if he hadn't immediately changed the subject, or if he actually had a Henderson project. Ryan's an architect and I know all his current clients. No Hendersons. The next morning I did something I am not proud of. I logged into our online banking and searched for Calloway. The transfers had been happening monthly for 3 years, totaling over $43,000, each one labeled simply for M. I am not naturally suspicious, but 3 years of secret payments demanded investigation. The address listed on the transfers was just 4 blocks from our house, an apartment complex called Willow Creek Gardens, apartment 3B. I drove there during my lunch break, telling myself I just needed peace of mind. Maybe it was an elderly relative he was too proud to tell me about. Maybe a friend in trouble. What I didn't expect was to see a young woman around 30 opening the door with a little girl about 6 years old beside her. Can I help you? She asked, her expression friendly but cautious. I'm looking for Monsieur Calloway, I said, my mouth suddenly dry. That's me, Megan. She studied my face. Do I know you? The little girl peered around her mother's legs. She had Ryan's eyes, the same unusual amber color, the same slight crinkle at the corners. My stomach dropped. I'm Emma Wilson, I said. Ryan Wilson's wife, her face drained of color. Lily, go play in your room for a minute, okay? Once the child disappeared, Megan stepped onto the landing, pulling the door nearly closed behind her. He said he was going to tell you, she whispered. He promised after Lily's 6th birthday he'd finally tell you everything. Lily had turned 6 2 months ago. I'd seen the date on a crayon drawing taped to their refrigerator. Tell me what, exactly? My voice sounded strange, like it belonged to someone else. About Lily, about our arrangement. She looked genuinely distressed. I'm so sorry, I never wanted to cause problems. Ryan and I were over long before he met you. It was just one weekend. I didn't even tell him about Lily until she was 3. The timeline clicked into horrible focus. Ryan and I had been married for 7 years. Lily was 6. The payment started 3 years ago when she would have been 3. He pays your rent, I stated flatly. Child support, she corrected gently. He wanted to be part of her life, but he was terrified of losing you. We agreed this was better than nothing. I drove home in a daze and waited for Ryan to return from work. When he walked through the door, I simply said I met Lily today. He sat heavily on our couch, head in his hands. I've been trying to find the right time to tell you. At first I was just in shock. Then I was afraid. We've been trying for a baby for so long, and suddenly I had a child with someone else, 7 from before us. He looked up, his eyes red, but the longer it went on, the harder it became to explain why I'd hidden it. Do you spend time with her? I asked. He nodded slowly. Wednesday afternoons. I tell you, I am meeting clients, and sometimes Saturday mornings when you have yoga. All those work emergencies and client meetings suddenly made sense. For 3 years my husband had been living a double life just 4 blocks away. She has your eyes, I said, my voice breaking. Emma, please, I love you. This doesn't change that, but it did change everything. Not just the lying or the money. The $1,200 a month explained why we'd postponed buying a house, why we'd scaled back our own dreams of starting a family. It was the realization that while we'd been trying unsuccessfully for a baby, crying together through 2 miscarriages, he'd had a child all along, a child he chose to keep secret. I spent that night at my sister's house. The next morning I did something that surprised even me. I went back to Willow Creek Gardens. Megan answered the door with red-rimmed eyes. Ryan called me, she explained. I'm so sorry, I'm not here to cause trouble, I said. I'd like to meet her properly. Lily was shy at first, but warmed up when I admired her collection of rocks and feathers. She had Ryan's laugh, his curiosity, as I watched her explain the difference between sedimentary and igneous rocks. Apparently Ryan had been teaching her geology. I felt something unexpected, not anger or jealousy, but a strange sense of connection. He talks about you, Megan said quietly while Lily drew pictures. He tells her stories about her brilliant stepmom who designs buildings that touch the sky. I am an environmental engineer, close enough in a 6-year-old's mind, I suppose. I don't know what happens next. Ryan and I have started counseling